Into New Jersey, don't try the one with me. Braid your back.
Let Me Google That is sponsored by Water Cooler Trivia. In a disconnected world, feeling connected to the people you spend 3,000 million hours a day with at work can be weird and hard. Water Cooler Trivia can help. Their curious, clever crew creates custom trivia quizzes that you and your team can play on your own time, and then you can all bond over the results. And the best part is that you get to show off your encyclopedic knowledge of 90s pop culture. Get your geek on at watercoolertrivia.com and tell them Let Me Google That sent you. So last week, the New York Times ran a story about a young woman named Miwa Sado, a young reporter at Japan's state-run broadcast news network.
Some people just know the more you protect, the more you save with Allstate, because they know insurance math. Like if you protect your home and auto, Allstate can save you up to 25%. So it's like losing money if you don't bundle. Save more when you protect more. Bundle home and auto with Allstate today.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hey gamers, Jake Barros here, and you're listening to Pressed Up.
Around 5:30 in the morning, dozens of Philly police bike officers rode over to the encampment site on College Green. Protesters started to wake up and sense what was about to happen. Rishi, a Temple student, said they would remain defiant, and in his words, they were going to escalate.
We are not being moved when the cops come in and
we are not going to do anything other than what Jacob Isreal tells us to do.
Soon, scores of officers in riot gear, the helmets, batons, and shields, they closed in. Time was running out for the protesters.
We do what we are told to do.
On bullhorns, it was a final warning.
If you leave now, you will not be arrested. You have 2 minutes.
Some left, many though did not, and they surrounded the Ben Franklin statue.
That did not
leave
arms, are
chanted
the ones
and sang.
that were told
Some
not
held
to
on
leave.
to Palestinian flags. Officers then pulled protesters away one by one. Many of them positioned their bodies to make it difficult to arrest them. Some were carried away. All were put into police vans and driven off as crews broke down their camp.
And then they went
the
back to the other place that they were going to do more protest after they got in the police van and did not get locked up to the police station. They just went back to what they're supposed to do. Because everything that's on the news is on the news because they want you to see it. You know, they Elon Musk, he's in charge of everything, right? This Earth, isn't he the dragon or the Judas, one or the other? No, he's Lucifer's son, but he's the son of Perdition. So I reevaluated my. Somebody commented on the one video about, you know, if you keep talking about Jonathan Kleck and Jacob Isreal and calling him the Antichrist or whatever it is I call him, the beast, false prophet. If I keep on doing that, at any point, eventually they're gonna see my video and they're just gonna have it's like, enough already, Robin. We're tired of you telling us who we are. And so there's three main people, really, that I got to go by the three main people that I have defended myself and have confronted about the words that they're saying, but I don't believe what they're saying is what they mean. So the first one was the dragon, Stephen James Dishon. It was the first one in the Bible. And then I didn't have much of a problem with Jacob Isreal before. I just thought he was a goof. Yeah, like a meatball. It's just like a not a meathead, but a meatball, like meat bale. I didn't know back then. I just thought, he sure does act like overly Italian with the character. And I said that not even knowing that Jacob Isreal is a character under something else, some type of other mask or so, somewhere or another. Different channels, and never actually thought of that until I learned about it. So I didn't really focus on Jacob Isreal. I focused more on Jonathan Kleck. And I've called Jonathan Kleck a false prophet before. And I've said that, you know, my view of him. There's times I sense a good Johnny, there's times I sense an evil Johnny. I wish I didn't sense that, or I wish I didn't have to sense it. But what am I gonna do? I'm a nobody from the outside poking my nose in everybody else's business. That's why Jacob Isreal says things like, you shouldn't have run off with your mouth. And you know, you're going to regret it if you don't apologize to me. Now, did he say that directly to me? No. But the commenter was saying, basically, it almost sounded like Jacob Isreal as another commenter sticking up for Jacob Isreal. Well, here's the thing, Jacob. If you stop subliminally telling me how you truly feel, what's in your heart, and it always seems to be a negative response, like, I love Jesus. That's not, you can't kid anybody when I catch you and slow that down. You can't kid one person that you didn't mean that you actually want to punch Jesus. And there's no one person on earth that watches my video that once they seen that, would they think, I think Jacob's a genuine guy. Because it's either what I'm saying it is, or you're acting as a villain. Another thought was, if you're Stephen James Dishon, the beast, dragon, inside of another body as the son of perdition, if you're actually Stephen James and you're not his son of Stephen James Perdition, if you're not him, because if you are him, that means you're acting, it means your heart has already been converted, and yes, you're acting like a villain still, but you're really a good guy. That's only if you're Stephen James Dishon, behind another mask reserved for the end. You come in at first as the poor suffering servant type, and then you come in second. You come in first as the man of sin, or is it the son of perdition? I forget which one was it that Robert Breaker was teaching on. It's one or the other. Judas comes in, the son of perdition comes in as the man of sin. Yes, that's the first man of sin. Then the second portion, the next 3.5 years, is the son of perdition. Now, I might have that backwards. And I'm sure, let's see, where's the sirens coming from? There. And Oh, Tyler Mullen chimed in today. I just think it's like this. Anybody's video I watch, because my videos have already been, every one of my videos throughout my entire life on YouTube has already been watched. And you guys already know that and have watched it in the past, as I'm living in a nightmare right now that I believe Jacob Isreal is in control of as the monster tormentor. Now, I believe that Steve was there first, and I just like this billboard. Rush order tees. Get your shit together, Philly, or your shirt. I'm in hell. Judas went back to his place. Hell. There's a spot for Judas in hell that is, you know, like nice and cozy. Judas also hangs it up. The second portion, the second half, after the crucifixion, Judas, which proves after the crucifixion and not a forthcoming one, Judas spills his guts and hangs himself with his own words. He spills his guts, he hangs himself. The man of sin will make himself known. And I look at it throughout the 7 years that I've been on YouTube, and the 6 years so far of after the 70th year anniversary, how many times you have to forgive your brother? 70 times 7. 70 times 7, 7 years from 70, the nation of Israel becoming a nation again, is 2025. It's next year. It's only 7 months away. It's not even that far. But then going into May, it's a year from now. So it's almost a year. It's 7 years, so there's a 7-year tribulation period. It's fitting that when I joined, within a year's period of time, then tribulation started. And it started right away when Matthew Daly, who was acting as Judas, was or the Roman soldier or whatever, but more like Judas, the one that, you know, name drops the person that has the Christ spirit coming into the YouTube platform, name drops that person and then has him crucified by words. 2018 March 2nd. The funny thing is, Jacob Isreal started March 3rd 2008. So exactly 10 years later, from the time that Jacob Isreal started on YouTube, I get crucified by a character that I possibly, or not possibly, but I think could possibly be Jacob Isreal behind another mask from before. I heard that Judas is coming back, so it'll be the second time, but basically in a different body, because Satan will enter into him, like Stephen James Dishon will enter into Jacob Isreal. And he said his son's name is Jacob, and he said when he's 33, nothing's gonna happen till then. I believe that's this year. You said it, Steve. 6/3, June 3rd, many beasts 2024 are going to be destroyed on that day. That's this year. That's next month. It's coming up real soon. 33, Jacob started. 33 years from the time that the www, World Wide Web Internet was kick-started for people to start making their websites, so you can snare people, catch them in their web, in your web, the sites. 33 years since 1991 is this year. Jacob has that channel right now. He doesn't have Jonathan Kleck's channel, or maybe he could be one of the twins. I don't really know. The one that's still just has to go. It's the one that nobody comes to his help in the end, except for Steve and Nunn. So none will come to his help. I know I've said it was Steve and James before. I'm sure I said it was Derek Rose at one point. And now I'm saying it's Jacob Isreal. So that's my conclusion, my final answer. The beast in Revelation is Jacob Isreal. You know why? Because he has the main channel right now. In the end, the last 3.5 years of who the literal physical Antichrist, Judas, son of perdition is, that Satan enters into that vessel, would be not Derek Rose, because he's not even getting up and saying anything, which process of elimination cancels him out. Jonathan Kleck, it can't be him either, because he was already kicked off of his main channel. You're not going to get kicked off the channel when you're the Antichrist. Your channel is going to be live. It's going to be almost daily. Like, not only, I mean, what I'm saying is Jacob Isreal's channel, he goes live all the time. Jacob, you already put it. Sometimes I forget you're like right here in the car with me, as if I'm talking about you, but I know you're watching right now as I talk about you. So Jacob, on your channel you showed, you had a saying that, I don't know, what did it say, like almost daily you're gonna start making videos. Well, yeah, of course, you have to continuously get up as an angel of light, and because we all know how much you love Jesus, right? The last son of perdition, the 99 get left behind, and that one that's lost, that doesn't believe that they're lost, because I don't know, maybe they even know the future, or maybe they're just acting like they know everything, or maybe somebody gets editing rights to the future and changes it. Wouldn't that be something to witness? Like, you're a sorcerer and you know the future and you already seen it before, and then all of a sudden there comes editing rights and changes it on you. Or it's all an act. Jacob Isreal is actually Stephen James Dishon, the first beast, and then the second one comes up. He causes all those to worship himself from before, just by getting everybody to believe the lie. And what is the lie? The lie is that Christ is in you, the hope of glory, and that's all it is. And it's not one person. The lie is that Jesus is getting ready to get killed on the cross, even though it already happened. So I start reevaluating. It doesn't matter who is which one or what. I can still be harassed at any given point. There's nothing I can do. I can't control it. I'm just stuck in this world, which I call hell. It's a nightmare. I am literally plugged in dreamland. I'm wide awake, even though I can't wake up I can't just unplug myself and step out. But I know that that's where I'm at. I don't know where my body really is, but I know I'm in dreamland, and it's a nightmare, and it's hell. I don't belong here. but I'm here. So while I'm here, Jacob's gonna do whatever it is that he wants to do. He's gonna constantly talk the way he does, and he watches and listens to every single video, every moment of my life. He sees it. He talks about things I talk about in private, and that's just what it is. And then he'll mention it on the show, and I know what he's talking about, and maybe nobody else does, but I highly doubt it. There are going to be a lot of people sticking up for Jacob Isreal. Including the one that's calling right now, who was talking about birds. Show me a dead bird, and then referencing a robin bird, and I'm like, God, you sure seem awfully interested in birds today. You sound kind of gay, actually. Because I don't believe that anybody really has their own thoughts. I just believe that you get told to do what the devil is telling you to do in your ear, just to relate to things that pertain to me in this nightmare dreamland. And then when I go to sleep, I can potentially have more nightmares and deal with the same entity that is alive and well in this realm as the Sandman is in the dreamland realm. So if there was ever any good candidates that shows me that he is in charge, as the dragon has given Jacob Isreal his power as the beast, because he's running this beast system. The system is the internet, the World Wide Web. It is 666. It's the biggest lie, although you can find the truth in it, but nothing but liars are hirelings. They're not going to turn against their boss until at the end, when none come to his help. My job is to basically, if I see something on the side of the road, or something that's blocking the pathway, I gotta tow it out of the way. It needs to get towed. That way a constant flow can proceed. It can go. I gotta tow it out of the way. Then you start to get a clear path that you can see clearer. Because things that are in the way need to get out of the way, because it's just blocking the truth. It's the same thing on the YouTube platform. If someone's not genuine and they act like they are, and they're using the name Jesus, and they say things like the things that Jacob Isreal is saying, I'm well aware that things can get worse for you, Robin, because you are not afraid of me. And me is the one that's in charge. And I'm going to come against everybody, including you. But you're going to be like Buzz Lightyear. And you're going to be hanging out with your Woody. And we're not going to like that. We don't like you hanging out with Woody. We don't like you having Woody. How much wood could a woodchuck if a wood could chuck wood. Well, that woodchucker would definitely chuck your wood, Robin, and tell somebody to talk about dead birdies. Because it's all just a coincidence, isn't it? $33 mile. Here's the good news. The Antichrist only has 3.5 years and his time's up. I think it was just about 3 years ago, Jacob Isreal had said that we are now entering into a time of Jacob's trouble. And it's a 3.5 year period. That half a year is where we're in that last half of that year right now. The last third year and a half, we're in it. I just have to endure to the end, no matter what happens with whatever, no matter what's taken, no matter what the news I get, no matter who betrays, no matter who says what. In the end, I already won, because you've seen all of my videos, Jacob. You already seen them all, didn't you? You've seen every single video that I've made on YouTube before I made it. That's why I know that I can just watch somebody's channel, and because of the simple fact that I watch their channel and I put their clips on my video, it's already been seen. Somehow they already know what to say, as if they're watching it and just as if it's live, but they already know what I said, but they're gonna say what needs to be said in order to line up. Like the art museum footage, somehow that happens, and I'll never be able to figure out that one. But that's how I know that all I could do is show the clips of others, whether they're evil or good. I agree with Tyler Mullen. Somebody, he was saying, he's not going to mention any names, was saying that they shouldn't make videos of other people. And it reminded me of him talking about Jacob Isreal. And it reminded me of him talking about me, because he said if someone has the Holy Spirit and they're pointing things out, well, that's a different story. If they're pointing something out that's not legitimate with somebody else, we're at that point where it's either one side or the other. You're either going to worship Baal, the god of this world, the wrong one. You're either going to worship Nabal, or Nabal's own wife is going to give him up. And basically, it's almost like Nabal is Judas, and Abigail is Matthias, the one that replaces him. It's almost like that, because it's like his own wife. She's not gonna stand for her own husband because he's dead. And even though he doesn't physically die, but when you're spiritually dead, you're already a widow, as you're married to a dead man. So when you get a divorce, it's because he's dead. You're a widow. You're free to go. You're free to get married to Jesus Christ himself. You can marry that spirit at any time. You can divorce your dead husband anytime and marry Jesus. What are you going to do? Go to hell? So when someone's the ruler of hell, like right here on earth, and they tell you that it's not hell, that you're going to go to another place and you're going to burn and you're going to do this and that, then they're trying to control you. And guess what spirit that is? Jezebel. It's the Jezebel spirit. They will try to control you. They will try to control you through threats. You know that they can make your life miserable on earth, and I know that as a fact. I know things can get worse. I know things can get better. I know that even when things get worse, they're getting better, because I'm one day closer to being done. with all the bullshit that I've been dealing with, talking to devils. But I also met a really good bunch of people too. I may not have talked to directly, in person, but I sure do communicate with them, and I know they don't mind me using their video clips because they do sermons on the things that I've already talked about. It makes it easier. It makes it easier for me to fulfill everything because I know how this thing works, and they know that I know now, so it's easier to see it, and I get more answers that way as to who's who. Don't worry about the people with faces of men when you hear about a woman in the Bible. I don't let that deter me. So that's another, it's just another, it's not that they're being deceptive or liars, it's that it's a way of proving God's Spirit, the Holy Spirit, can discern the differences. That's what this is. That's why everybody's wearing masks. It's not about what you look like. It's not about that. It's about the spirit that's hiding behind a good guy mask, like the son of Perdition, the Judas, the guy in the end, the one that comes as an angel of light, the one that gets replaced, and the one that I'm sure he loved Jesus. It's not the first time I thought Jacob Isreal was Judas. Matter of fact, there's some clips that I made, I think it was this year, that I had just thrown it out there because it lines up with it. Jacob Isreal, here's why I've concluded him being the beast. And even Robert Breaker was teaching that Judas is also the beast. A beast of a man. That's what Abigail says about Nabal, meat, ball, meatball. Meat, ball, ale, meatball, meat, bale. Haman, not a good dude. It says that some people say, well, Judas had a conscience because he spilled his guts. I mean, he apologized. Or he was spilling his guts, one or the other. Well, you can spill your guts and not be sorry, because you can hang yourself with the words that you're speaking by spilling your guts. You're spilling your guts. You're hanging yourself because of the words that are coming out of your mouth. You're giving yourself away. It's not easy watching Jacob Isreal. It's not easy. But it's never easy watching your opponent. But however, how are you going to learn who your opponent and how to fight your opponent if you don't watch him? You can't just step in the ring and not know his tactics. You'll get your ass kicked. Jacob's channel, your channel, Jacob, let's look at it like this. Derek Rose had a pretty significant channel. He doesn't speak anymore. If you're not speaking in these last days, you're not qualified to be the Antichrist. Now, you may have different channels. You may still be the Antichrist over here and over there, but I got to narrow it down to the specific main channel. The one that is the most popular channel. The one that can relate to everybody. The one that seems like a genuine guy. The one that everybody respects. The one that is a rich young ruler. Even if you're 52, 53, that's still young to be a young ruler. It's not that Jacob relies on selling his cups and drinking from Uranus. It's not that at all. He's not relying on money from t-shirts. He may have bought a field of blood with the purchase of betraying Christ, the first portion of the 7-year period, to buy a field of blood. So it's like buying this YouTube field, having the advertisements and getting the currency, the money from the people and the channels, and it's like that. When I look at Stephen James's channel, there's not enough subs. He doesn't do enough videos. I gotta go by what would the Bible say about the Antichrist at the very end. He's gonna be well known. He's gonna be a charismatic character. He's gonna be talking to the people on basically a daily basis. I've been called the Antichrist, of course. But again, if I'm coming after the Antichrist who's acting like he's Christ, but he really hates Jesus, then sure, I'm the Antichrist to him. But the reality is, he's the Antichrist. Because he's going to get up as an angel of light, acting like he's the Messiah, the chosen one. Kind of like Cain killing Abel. Like Judas coming after Jesus, having him killed. But Judas is the one that made it known to the people, to the guards, who Jesus was. He gave him a kiss. He kissed him. It's like he kissed him. And, you know, the kiss. What do you do if you kiss somebody? It could be kissing them. You could be kissing their ass. You could be a character that kisses Jesus' ass. But then in the end, you're really just there. But according to the book of Judas, Judas and Jesus were actually good buddies, in a sense. Not like great friends, but they obviously had a lot of conversations. And Jesus said to Judas, Judas, your star has led you astray. And that has to be the son of perdition that he's talking to. Because that's the only one left that's lost. All of the other ones are already seeing it. It's like when I throw up the art museum footage on 3/23/2023. And the day before, I meet up with Jacob Isreal, and he's talking about the things, and don't talk about Jesus, or you will go to prison. So I went into prison the next day anyway. I was talking about Jesus, and what I did was I fed, you know, if there was 5,000 men watching my video, and I don't get the counts for it, but they have women, children, their families, it can be like, you know, a good 20,000 people that are able to watch these miracles that I created with my own ideas. My idea was to go in, record what the footage that I'm going to see with you two to start with. That was my idea in my head. Wasn't thrown in there by anybody to do that specific thing. But to go into the art museum, I was encouraged to do that by Jonathan Kleck, because he was talking about the building with the wind blades and the art gallery and all that stuff. So I went in there on that day. I didn't realize what it was. I had to keep doing videos. I had to keep, regardless of what anybody said, regardless of John from Denver telling me to stop playing the YouTube videos because it's irritating. He can't stand you two. It's like, even if John from Denver says, stop talking about Jacob Isreal, talking about you, because he's not talking about you. Even if John from Denver is the one that said, use the X recorder, because that's the one that is reliable. I wind up using that, taking his advice, and it failed while I recorded both videos that day. So actually, it failed, your advice. However, and it was for that day only, which is crazy, because it was working beforehand. But it did repair itself, so therefore, in the end, good advice, because the X app recorder, Planet X, recorded time travel. It reached into the past, it lined my footage up with the exact moment, and it happened non-stop, one frame after another frame after second after second. And that's the most amazing thing that could ever happen in my life at that exact moment on that day, from 3:30 to 4:01, a half-hour time of silence. If you just watched from, if your eyes were watching for that full half hour until the time that I stopped recording with XApp that day. All those 8 songs miraculously lined up with my footage. So I've been at it for over a year, showing that footage, and then I went in again, and then I had faith that it was going to line up, and then I said that beforehand, and then I proved my faith was legitimate. So what I'm telling you is the absolute truth. It's concrete, solid evidence that it's for real, and whoever the Antichrist is, you can see right through him. Don't look for Jesus. We're not looking for Jesus. I'm sorry. Don't look for the Antichrist. Let me find him. You look for Jesus. I'll find the Antichrist, and then I will, I'll be hot, cold. I'm the accuser of the brethren, according to Stephen James. So I accuse people of being things that they may not be. But you call it accusing, I call it horseshoes. I'm just playing horseshoes. Eventually, I'm going to get that ring around the rosy, a pocket full of eventually, I get rewarded for my time here in hell, in the nightmare matrix world, for finding the serpent in the garden, finding the one-eye AI tormentor that's in Pet Goat 2, that once that robin egg cracks open, guess what that serpent does when he finally gets named as to who you absolutely are, Jacob Isreal? Then the serpent gets ghost. Jamie the Wabbit, that's who you were in the beginning. You commented to me. You were the biggest stomach test. I appreciate you as a stomach test, Jacob. Because you said, shame on you, Robin, calling me Jamie, my nickname, when I was a kid. And when Matthew Daly was crucifying me back then, remember that crucifixion, Jacob? Remember? He was like, let me make one thing clear to you, Robin. Oh, hi, Jamie. Now, he was either talking to you, or you are Matthew Daly. Still trying to narrow it out. Right now, I just threw a horseshoe. It's close to the ring. It didn't wrap around it yet, because I'm not absolute certain. But the same spirit, I sense the same spirit of Jezebel. Your name lines up with Jezebel, Jacob Isreal, Nabal, Meat Bale. You already talked about Will Smith turning into spaghetti. Agent Smith, who has tormented me. Agent Smith was destroyed by Neo. He didn't believe it could happen. He just was standing there like it was impossible, but you defeated me. And then, so the bottom line is, in the end, after the defeat, they worked together. So, and I wonder if that's anything like Joseph being second in charge to Pharaoh. Again, horseshoe, tossing a horseshoe. And the reason why I say Jacob Isreal, if you are Stephen James, then you're absolutely acting. You've already been converted. So there's no reason for me to get attach feelings to the things that you say about, you know, how you love Jesus, and it's such a, just, you can tell that how you're acting, you can tell how you're acting, that you're not genuine. However, you could be genuine and you're acting like a villain. So therefore, that would be more reason for me not to attach feelings, take things personal with what you're saying, because you truly are a good guy. And you know the end. Because you already seen all my videos. You can lead me around in the William Penn building and show me what I'm going to see live before I even see it. But you could also be like Pharaoh, doing the same thing that Moses did. To say, I can do the same thing, Moses. What's the big deal? Well, all the plagues is the big deal. That's what's the big deal. When none come to your help in the end, that's the big deal. So how does that happen? Well, people turn from their belief system in the Antichrist himself, and they start to help me understand Scripture without deceit. You know, like, there's no deceit in, what is it, Nathaniel? Or is it Philip? Or I forget which one it is. There's no guile, no deceit in that person's mouth. The false prophet lining up with Jonathan Kleck, because he would say a lot of times, "God's a false prophet," and he tell you don't call him a false prophet, because if anything else, you're blaspheming the Holy Spirit. Well, even the false prophet shows new signs. That's funny, it says Jonathan Spoons and the new signs, like Detective Spooner, Jonathan Kleck. Even the false prophet routes miracles, signs, and wonders. So the three main people that I've spent a majority of my time, I would say the most time on YouTube within a 7-year period, on and off, back and forth, is Stephen James Dishon, Jacob Isreal, and then Jonathan Kleck came into my view, and then but it's been a little bit of Jacob here, a little bit there. I've come to Jacob Isreal in peace. I've showed things, you know, as a friend between me and him in spirit, because I knew he was talking to me. But at the same time, there's that other side that I'm not going to let slide either, just because I feel like you're in charge of this world and you can make my life a living hell. I'm still not going to back down from it, because I already thought that about Stephen James, and I haven't stopped with him either. But I know Stephen James has a change of heart. Even if it's a program, the program is telling me that there's been a change because of the algorithms of my ability to grasp is something that would be considered off the charts To be able to reach into the past and use famous rock bands to line up with my footage as parables is undeniable. I'm not even trying to convince anybody. I don't have to do that. I'm talking to everybody that has eyes to see, ears to hear, and to those of you that are still blind, if there is anybody out there that's still blind, and I'm not just preaching to the choir, waking up thinking that I still need to convince people of what's going on with what I'm showing you. What does it mean? It means Satan's kingdom has been numbered and it's over. That's what it means. But I still have to walk it out with the timeline that I don't know. I don't know the time. Only the Father knows in heaven. So with the beast, with the dragon being Stephen James Dishon, giving his power over to the beast, Jacob Isreal, and the false prophet, Jonathan Kleck, who says, don't call me a false prophet. Well, don't you know that they all get thrown alive into the lake of fire? And don't you know that out of the 3 top main people in the universe, I've spent most of my time focusing in on all the 3 that I just said and I named in order. Because a false prophet is somebody that acts like they don't have the script. False prophet is someone that acts like they have computer programs when they don't. I do. Even a false prophet can lead me around and show many signs and miracles and wonders. And it's not that I don't love Jonathan Kleck dearly, or Jacob Isreal, or Stephen James. It's just the fact that this is... the world is a stage, and I'm waking up to realizing my position in this world stage. It's the entire world is affected by the 3 people that I just named. So imagine that. All 3 of them have been thrown alive into the lake of fire. Have you not, Stephen James, please? Yes, you have. Jonathan Kleck, yep, you have. Jacob Isreal, yes. Derek Rose, not really. Not really. Yeah, I started on a minute with him and then I backed off quickly. It's something about it, just something about Derek made me realize things quicker. So Derek could be coming back like Donald Trump. He could be coming back like the Christ, because he's cut off, because he doesn't speak anymore. I heard Enlil represented Christ, so he was from above. So there you go. The beast, the false prophet. The dragon, the beast, and the false prophet.